Hello everyone, and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain. And today, sit a while, for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. One quick thing here before I get into this. It would appear that I am sick again. This is getting old. I have a really terrible cough. I have never smoked a cigarette in my life, and when I cough it sounds like I've been smoking 2 packs a day my entire life. The only reason I'm mentioning it is, well, I don't know if my voice sounds different or whatever. I don't really care about that, to be honest, but I might have to mute the microphone quite a few times so that I can cough. So if there's more pauses than usual, that's the reason why. That's the only reason I'm mentioning it. I am not trying to buy sympathy from anybody or anything like that. It just sucks. So that's that. If it gets too unbearable, I might do half the month and then do another half of the month later. We'll see. I think I'm gonna be able to hold it in, but yes, we're gonna figure it out. So that's pretty much it. So wow, November 2000. Now that was a month in Ottawa history. We had quite the month that saw us almost rise to first place in the East there. So Pittsburgh is ahead of us by 1 point. They do have a game on, but we did really well. So that was really fun. That was really the first time that I felt that I was really having a lot of success with my team. So I still didn't sit on my laurels. I did all of my, groundwork that I usually do. Took a look at who's available on the trading block. I am not one of those people that believe that because my team is doing well right now that I should not change a thing. Actually, often when your team is doing well is a good time to make changes because you can deal from a position of strength. Of course, when your team is not doing well, you're trying to improve your team any way you can. But I took a look. There's really, honestly, there's one player that is above a 1.5 star talent, and it's Eric Desjardins in Montreal. I am not sure that I want to trade a good piece to Montreal. I already sent Patrick Marleau to Buffalo. I'm not sure that I want to give Montreal more firepower, so I'm going to stand put for now. Eventually somebody will come up that I'm gonna want that's not gonna be playing within my division. Oh, that's true, there was another player that was like a 3-star player. It's Chris Draper. I don't really need him. I already have Mike Seninger and Matt Cullen. Those are similar type of players, so I'm not gonna go for Chris Draper. Desjardins was interesting. I'm gonna pass though. Alright, so let's get December going. As usual for Christmas, I would like a trade offer I cannot refuse. That's all I'm asking for. Alright, now let's see. Steve Yzerman extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had an assist against Florida. So Stevie Y is still a 4-star player. Pretty good. Kevin Hatcher in Washington is back from suspension. Back into the lineup. Oh, Rod Brydon is very happy. You better, with the month we had. 11-1-1 in November. You better be very happy with that. Okay, we are now playing at home against the Flyers. Flyers are 7th in the East right now. They are 13-10-2, so decent season so far. Not too bad. We went 2-0 against Philadelphia so far this year. Actually, they were both on the road, so 2 road wins in Philadelphia. Now we're playing at home. So let's see what we can do. Alright, Philadelphia's going with Roman Cechmanek. We're going with Tim Thomas. So we're starting the month with Tim Thomas in it. Let's see how that goes. And we won 4-1. Oh, his percentage is going to go up again. He got 30 shots, so that was actually a pretty good game for him. Oh, it was also a pretty good game for our offense, so we completely outshot Philadelphia 61-30. Whoa. Matt Cullen was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Magnus Arvidsson was the second star with 2 assists, and Bill Guerin was the third star with a goal. We had 12,255 people in attendance. Oh, that's true. Philadelphia has Martin St. Louis. Great pickup for them. So he actually opened up the scoring, but then Matt Cullen tied the game from Arvidsson and Brian Berard. It was tied at 1 after 1. And then we scored our next 3 goals in the second period. Marian Osa on the power play from Sheldon Surrey and Matt Cullen. Then Bill Guerin from Arvidsson and Yashin. And finally Osa from Daniel Alfredson. And then only some penalties in the third period. Actually, there was a fight between Sheldon Surrey and Matt Cook. Oh, Matt Cook actually fought somebody that's about his size. That's surprising. I do not have a lot of respect for that man. Alright, so we won first game in December. Let's have another great month like we did in November. Vincent Danfous has achieved 400 goals in his career, 2 goals against Calgary. So pretty good little game, nice little milestone. Danfous is starting to slow down. He's a 2.5 star player at 32 right now. So still okay, but slowing down a little bit. Well, you wouldn't believe it by looking at his stats though. He has 30 points in 27 games. Mike Modano has accomplished 900 points in his career with a goal against Phoenix. Sean McEachern extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had 2 assists against Buffalo. And Steve Yzerman's assist streak ended at 8 games. He was held... no, he did score a goal. Didn't get an assist though, but he did score a goal against Tampa Bay. Alright, and we are now playing in Carolina. So Carolina is not doing very good. They are 13th in the East. They are 8, 13, and 3. And we are 2-0 against them as well. So we played both a home and away game. We won both. We are playing on the road right now. So let's win this. Alright, we're going back to our starter, Mike Dunham, facing Sean Burke in net. And it's another win, 4-2. Alright, so we don't crush the opposition as far as goals scored, but we do win consistently. That's the sign of a good team, finding ways to win. We were actually outshot in that game. That doesn't happen very often anymore. We are a far cry from 1992. We were outshot 40-30, so not... I mean, 40 is a lot of shots, but, I mean, it happens. Sammy Salo was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Jeff Sanderson for Carolina was the second star. He had 2 assists. And Mike Dunham, third star with 38 saves. So Carolina scored first, and then, just like in the previous game, Matt Cullen tied it from Brian Berard and Magnus Arvidsson. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then we scored twice in the second period. Daniel Alfredson on the power play from Joe Nieuwendyk, and then Yashin on the power play as well from Joe Thornton. Then Jeff O'Neill would score on the power play as well, and then it was 3-2 for us. Then finally in the third, Sammy Salo scored from Pavel Datsyuk and Joe Nieuwendyk. It was 4-2, and that was our final score. Dan Kess and Darren McCarthy are available on the waivers. I will not pick either. Good night for Rob Blake. He had 3 goals and an assist against Anaheim. Pretty good game for Rob Blake. A night to remember for Brian Leach, who had 4 assists. Pretty good against the Colorado Avalanche. Ooh. Look at that. If you look on the right there, the Ottawa Senators are at the top of the Eastern Conference. Now, of course, we are playing Pittsburgh right now, so if they win, they are going to take over that spot. But right now, I can sit here and realize that I'm first in the East, and for what I believe is the first time. So I'm going to take a sip of coffee and enjoy this moment for a few seconds. Alright, so we are playing Pittsburgh, a team that has given us so many problems over the years. We have won one, lost one against them. Of course, they are second, they have a good record. They are 17-6-2. So let's play against Pittsburgh. Oh, they're going with former Ottawa Senator Guilbert in net. So I guess they picked up somebody that's better than Scudera or Barrasso, because Barrasso's been slowing down. And we're going back to Tim Thomas, who won his last game that we played at home. And we won 4-3, awesome. So now we have some distance between us and Pittsburgh atop the conference. Whoa, that was a run and gun game here. We had 47 shots, they had 40, so people didn't play a lot of defense there. Marian Osa was the first star of the game, he had a goal and an assist. Martin Stracco was the second star with a goal and 2 assists, and Bill Guerin was the third star with 2 assists. We had 13,153 people in attendance, so finally starting to attract some people. It's going up very slowly. It's an attrition war. So Zdeno Chara opened the scoring in the first from Amerdick and Arvidsson, and then Pittsburgh tied it up. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then we scored in the second. Alfredson from Yashin and Osa. It was 2-1 for us after 2. Straka tied the game in the third, but then Salo scored from Surrey and Bill Guerin, and then Osa from Guerin and Matt Cunnan. And then finally Adrian Aucoin scored on the power play with 21 seconds left to go in the game. It was 4-3 Ottawa, and that would stay that way. Sean McEachern's assist streak ended at 8 games. He was held scoreless against us, so we snapped the streak. Alright, of course we cannot rest on our, we can't sit on our hands and do nothing here. That success can be taken away from us pretty quick. Richard Schmelik is only an alpha star player at 30, so I am not going to pick him up. Oh, there's been a trade. Ooh. Not sure that they would make that kind of trade. Well, I don't think they would make a trade in real life around those years. Those teams were pretty big rivals at the turn of the, 2000s there. So Detroit and Colorado made a trade. So Mike Stapleton goes to Colorado for Aaron Miller. Yeah, at this point in their career and everything, I think that Detroit's getting the better player. I mean, Aaron Miller wasn't a superstar or anything. Neither was Mike Stapleton, but Stapleton is 34, so he probably doesn't have a whole lot of great years left in front of him. Alright, my apologies. So we are playing at home and home against Montreal. We have not played the Canadiens so far this year, and we are in December, so we're going to be playing our first 2 games of the season against them. Montreal is having a good season. They are 15-9-4, and they are 6th in the East. They're only 5 points behind us, so if they were to win both games, they would get really close to us in the standings, and I wouldn't like that, so let's win. Let's take a look at their roster first. No injuries. Well, they do have PJ Axelson, and he's hurt. He has an allergic reaction. Oh, that sucks for him. Alright, so Patrick Roy and Steve Passmore in net, Markov, Scott Lachance, Mathieu Schneider, Patrice Brisebois, Eric Desjardins, Ed Jovanovski on D. That's a good D. This is honestly a pretty good D. Sergei Berezin, Yuri Dopita, John Leclerc, Brian Savage, Scott Thornton, Vincent Danfous, Chris Drury, Sekou Koivu, Pascal Rayon, Todd White, Yannick Dubé, Valérie Bourré, Mike Keane, and Sergei Zoltak. So, the forwards are good, not great, good. Should make for pretty good games, actually. I want to beat them, but it might be pretty tight. Alright, so Montreal's going with Patrick Roy, of course. We're going with Tim Thomas, who's been enjoying some success at home as of late, so why not? Ho! Ho, ho. That puts a smile on my face whenever that happens. We torched the Montreal Canadiens 7-0. I like that. Alright, so we outshot them 51-18. Take that, Montreal fans. Montreal fans that made fun of me for weeks because I said in real life that Pajot would at least bring back a second-round draft pick. Because if Tatar managed to get a first, second, and third while he was having a down year, that Pajot being a center, he's already more valuable for his position, and having a good season, he would at least get a second. Well, a lot of Montreal fans made fun of me, saying that I first of all, that I was stupid for comparing the two, which I understand they're not the same type of players, but I wasn't trying to compare like the stats or anything. And then they were telling me that Pajot wasn't worth more than a third-round draft pick. Well, there you have it, Montreal fans. As usual, you don't know much of anything outside of your team. Pajot went for a first, a second, and a conditional third. Anyway, rant over. So yeah, we outshot them 51-18. Daniel Alfredson was the first star of that game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Marian Osa was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Alex Yashin, third star, a goal and an assist. We had 12,510 people in Ottawa for that game. Brian Berard scored in the first, assisted by Robert Cron and Andreas Dackel. It was 1-0 for the Sens after 1, and we scored 4 times in the second period. And Marian Osa from Alfredson and Yashin. Yashin from Osa and Alfredson. Matt Cullen, who's having a pretty decent year right now, assisted by Surrey. Osa from Alfredson and Sheldon Surrey. And then in the third period, Bill Guerin from Arvidsson and Brian Berard, and Daniel Alfredson from Roman Hammerlich. Wow, Montreal, like, didn't show up at all. Not even a minute of penalty. It's like 11 hits total. I mean, they came just to get shellacked. They didn't even compete at all. Alright, and now we're playing in Montreal. Of course, we just played them the night before, so let's win again. I like it. We're riding Tim Thomas. He's doing pretty good. And they're going back to Patrick Roy. Let's see if we can win on the road. We won 3-2. Wow, another month that's starting pretty strong. Alright, so this time the shots were not as ludicrous. We outshot them 38-27. Joni Wendyke, we haven't seen his name all that often this season. First star with a goal. Andrei Markov, second star with an assist. And Zdeno Chara, third star with an assist as well. So Yashin scored in the first period, assisted by Chara. It was 1-0 for the Sens. Then John Leclerc tied the game in the second, but Magnus Arvidsson scored his first of the season, assisted by Bill Guerin. It was 2-1 Sens after 2. And then we traded goals in the third. Johnny Wendyke from Brian McCabe scored for us. It was 3-1, and then Montreal would score once, but could not tie the game. So it's another win for the Ottawa Senators. Alright. So in 4 days, we're going to be playing the Calgary Flames at home. Calgary is not doing all that great right now. Chris Clark and Ville Nieminen are available. I'm going to claim Chris Clark. He's the type of guy that you can put on your, on your third line. So if I have some injuries, I have a guy like that I can use. A big game for Mario Lemieux, who had 3 goals and an assist against Detroit. Ooh, Nolan Baumgartner extends his assist streak to 8 games with an assist against LA. He's playing for Vancouver. Alright, Chris Gratton in Atlanta got suspended. He's going to miss 2 games. And I don't think that I managed to get Chris Clark. I sure didn't. That's not the first time this year that I'm trying to claim a player on waivers and somebody else gets him. Of course, I'm, first in the East, so I probably have last choice or close to last choice. Detroit is probably crushing it in the West and probably have more points than me. Let's check real quick. Yeah, they have 5 more points than me. And then I have as many as the Avalanche, so I'm like 3rd in the NHL right now. That's not bad. Ooh, Brian Leetch got his 900th point of his career with 2 assists against San Jose. So slowing down a little bit, Brian Leetch. Still pretty efficient, though. He's 32. Still a 3.5-star player. Alright, Scott Young with the Wild is not suspended. So we are playing against Calgary this time. We are hosting the Flames. They're struggling. They are 13, 17, and 2. So not a great season for the Flames. Let's look at their lineup and see if we can figure it out from there. Alright, so Kyle McLaren is injured, so he's not playing. How good is he? 2-star player, yeah. That would probably help if he was on the roster. Oh, yeah. Alright, Mike Vernon in net. He's getting old. He's 37. He's only a 1-star goaltender now. And then I have no idea who that guy is. Levente Super. Can't say I'm familiar with this guy. It happens. So, he's a 1-star goaltender. So, yeah. Yaroslav Obsut. Is that Curtis Foster? Yes, it is. Al Gill, Tony Ludman, Alexander Karpovtsev. Al McInnes is injured. He's going to play. Brian Muir, Petrasek. Yeah, that D is not that great. Len Barry, Jeff Cowan, Jorgen Jansson, I'm guessing. Yep. Corey Simmons, Steve Bégin, Robert Reichel, Jim Toms, Randy Robitaille, Daniel Kachak. It's like pronounced differently than Keith Kachak. Pavel Patera, Theo Fleury, Jeff Hodgers, and Antonin. Yeah, that team is struggling. They are not doing too good. Right, they're sending Mike Vernon in net. We are going with Mike Dunham. We are hosting the Flames. We are still undefeated in December. Go Sens go. And we lost 3-2. So, of course, the one team that I look at that I'm like, oh, they're not very good, they beat me. It's the overconfidence curse. Alright, we outshot Calgary 38-24 in that game. Petrasic was the first star of the game with 2 assists. Sheldon Surrey was the second star with an assist. And Mike Vernon, 36 saves, was a third star. There was 12,997 people in attendance. Alexei Yashin opened the scoring in the first period on the power play from Sheldon Surrey. And then Yuka Antonin would tie it up at 1. Wow, that's his 14th of the season. That's pretty good for him. Then Calgary would take a 3-1 lead into the second. And then Magnus Arvidsson scored in the third from Guerin and Matt Cullen. It was too little, too late. We couldn't tie the game against the Flames, and we lost 3-2. Robert Lang has a strong game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Rangers. Passes on point for Steve Duchesne, who had 4 assists against Washington. Steve Duchesne getting a little old here. He's 35 and he's only a star and a half player anymore. Alright, so Chris Gratton is back from suspension in Atlanta. That's good for him. John Slaney in Anaheim is suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Jaromir Jagr got hurt for a few days against Florida. Should be back soon, though. And we have a trade offer from Nashville. Is it my Christmas trade proposal that I cannot refuse? Jonas Anderson for Peter Shastley. I mean, I don't think Shastley is going to live up to his potential, but I'm going to keep him just in case. Alright, so that wasn't a great... that's not what I wanted for Christmas. Alright. Alright, we have been passed by Pittsburgh, who played 1 more game than us. They have 1 more point. So... that's just to tell you how competitive it is. That's crazy. We just lost our first game of the month. 1 loss in the month so far in, like, what, 6 games? 1 loss in 6 games, and we couldn't hold on to the first place. That's crazy. Alright, so... next opponent is in town. It's the New York Islanders. They are doing really well as well. They are 18-7-5, and they are 4th in the East. So let's take a quick look here at their roster. Alright, so Roberto Luongo in net. He is getting there as far as his ability compared to his potential. And he's only 21. He's going to be good for a long time. I don't think the Islanders are getting rid of him anytime soon. And then Dan Cloutier as a backup. That's totally fine. Eric Brewer, Dick Tarnstrom, Matthias Timander, somebody Tukio, Vladimir Malakov, and Stefan Quintal on D. That's a decent D. Not crazy good, but decent. Todd Bertuzzi, Raffi Torres, Jason Blake, Vili Peltonen, Tom Pyatt. Is it Tom Pyatt for real? Taylor Pyatt. Yeah, that's true. I forgot he has a brother. That didn't make much sense to me that Tom Pyatt was that old. Sergei Bredin, Jim Dowd, Ray Ferraro, Espen Knutson, Jim Montgomery, Pierre Turgeon, Sean Donovan, Jean-Pierre Dumont, Marty McInnes, and Zygmunt Palffy. Their offense is kind of a mixed bag. I mean, Ray Ferraro's getting a little old there. Still a 2-star player. He's 36. Oh, and they do have Daryl Sidor and Matthias Weinandl hurt. So those are not going to be playing this game. Alright, we want to bounce back after the first loss of the month. We're sending Tim Thomas back in net. He's been doing really good for us so far this year. And we're facing Dan Cloutier. They're not sending Roberto Luongo against us. And we won 4-0. There you go. Shout out for Tim Thomas. His second of the season. We have completely outshot them 48-20. Mike Sillinger was the first star of this game. He had a goal and an assist. Andreas Dackel was the second star with a goal. And Marian Osa was the third star with a goal as well. 12,019 people in attendance. So, looks like we're averaging around the 12,000 mark right now. So that's not too bad. Well, I mean, compared to what it used to be, I mean, it still doesn't make any sense to me that a team that's flirting with first place is, you know, about, what, 9,000 people under capacity because they lost a bunch of games 8 years ago. But, yeah, that's a rant I've been making quite a bit lately. Maybe I should stop. So, Andreas Dackel, first to score a goal in this game from Sillinger and Mike Fisher, and then Joe Nieuwendyk from Datsuk and Brian Berard. It was 2-0 Sens after one. There was no goal scored in the second period, and we scored twice again in the third. Mike Sillinger from Arvidsson and Brian McCabe, and Marian Osa from Alexei Yashin. Andrew Castles has racked up 600 points with 2 assists against Boston. So Castles with a nice little career. He's 31, still a 3-star player. Pat Burns looks to save his job. So people in Toronto are sick and tired of Pat Burns. Yeah, Toronto's struggling a little bit. They are 13, 16, and 3. Nolan Baumgartner extends his assist streak to 9 games with an assist against Columbus. Alright, in 3 days we are going to be playing in Minnesota. Alright, so Mike Sullivan in San Jose is hurt. He's going to miss 4 months after being injured against Washington. Might have time to think about his coaching career. Robert Lang extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against Atlanta. So Robert Lang, 30 years old, playing in LA, 3-star player. We don't hear about him all that often, except for, like, this month. Alright, so we are playing the Wild. So the Wild are struggling. Ooh. Probably close to the worst team in the league, actually. No, close, yes, but they are not the worst. So they are 6-22 and 5. So it's our first game of the season against the Wild. So let's take a look. They don't have any injuries, so that's the best lineup that they have. Well, the goaltending is pretty good. They have Jose Theodore and Patrick Lanim in net, so that's decent. That's not a problem. Problem is that the rest of the team is average at best. Nobody is really good or anything like that. So they have Steve Duchesne, Mike Radji that they picked from us. Sekarash, Stephen Alco, Jamie Ewart, Darius Kasparidis, Jason Smith, and Jason York. So they are carrying a whole bunch of D. So the D is okay, but not great. And that's the same for the forwards. They have Patrick Lebeau, Grant Marshall, Scott Pellerin, Yves Sarro, Todd Fiedorok, Bob Wren, Alexander Daigle, Raimo Elmanen, Eric Dazé, Kovalenko, Turner Stevenson, Gary Valk, and Scott Young. So they have some decent pieces, but really not a whole lot of star power. Oof. Daigle is really struggling. He had an okay season in Toronto last year, but this year it's been tough for Daigle in Minnesota. He has 8 points in 33 games, all assists. He has not scored a goal. Now, as we know from his time in Toronto, Alexander Daigle loves to score against us. So he's probably going to snap out of his drought against us here in this game. Just saying, and that's a very Senators thing to do. Whenever, you know, a star... Well, Alexander Daigle is not a star in this universe, but whenever a star player in real life struggles, like Ottawa played Winnipeg lately, and Mark Scheifele hadn't scored in a month, well, guess what? He scored twice against us. We are very good for that. Also, you know, if you play a rookie that's looking for his first goal in his career, yeah, play him against us. We're probably going to let him score. We've been really good about that. It's kind of a running joke among some Sens fans on some forums, so just mentioning it. I'm going to mute my microphone right now. I really need to blow my nose. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So, looks like we're riding Tim Thomas lately because he's been winning, so looks like we're sticking with what's working. They're sending José Theodore in net. He's a good goaltender, so not sure why he's not wearing his number that he wore his entire career, but that's okay. And we won 5-1. Alright, we completely dominated that team and that game, as is often the case lately, so we have outshot them 46-18. Marianosa was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star, 2 goals and 1 assist. And Alexei Yashin, third star with 2 assists. Look at that. Brand new expansion team. They suck. And they have 17,000 people in attendance. Daniel Alfredson opened the scoring in the first period on the power play from Sheldon, Sorey, and Marianosa. Sorey's having himself a nice little season as well. And then in the second period, we took a 4-0 lead. So Alfredson scored from Osa, and then Osa on the power play from Sorey and Yashin, and then Osa from Yashin and Alfredson. It was 4-0 Sens after 2. Then Eric Dawsey scored on the power play for Minnesota, but shortly after, Magnus Arvidsson scored from McCabe and Nieuwendyk. It was 5-1, and that was our final score. And for Joe Nieuwendyk, it was his 1200th point in the NHL, that assist. So, struggling a little bit, Nieuwendyk this year. 12 points in 25 games. That's definitely not the pace he has accustomed us to. Alright, we are now playing in Columbus tomorrow. Ooh. No, that's not something that we've seen happen in real life. Nick Lidstrom in Detroit got suspended. He's going to miss 7 games. Wow. Nolan Baumgartner's assist streak ended at 9 games. He was held scoreless against Edmonton. Martin Straka extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had an assist against Florida. And Barry Trotz might get fired in St. Louis. There were rumblings of that last year as well. It didn't happen though. Alright, so we are playing another fresh new team in the league. We are playing against Columbus. In Columbus, Columbus doing better. They are 13-20-1. We did win against them at home earlier in the season. We won 3-0. We're going to try Mike Dunham in net again. And he's going to face Manny Legacy. Let's see if Dunham can win a game. And he lost, so every time we're sending Dunham in net this month, we've been losing. That's not good. Alright, we outshot Columbus 26-21. Chris Simon was the first star of the game with a goal. Bill Guerin was the second star with a goal. And Adam Denmarsh was the third star with an assist. Alright, so let's see. Chris Simon made it 1-0 Columbus in the second. Then Bill Guerin tied it from Arvidsson and Mike Selinger. But Columbus scored 2 more times after that, and that was it. Owen Nolan is suspended in Colorado. He's going to miss 4 games. Robert Lang extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal and an assist against Colorado in that same game that Owen Nolan was suspended. Lyle Oderline is not suspended in Nashville. Prolific passing night for Andrei Markov, who had 4 assists against Nashville. Ooh, Montreal torched them 10-3. Martin Straka's assist streak ended at 8 games. He had 2 goals, too, but didn't get an assist against Tampa Bay. Alright, we have 4 games left in December. Steve Yzerman has reached 1,000 assists. He had a goal and an assist against Anaheim, so a really good season for Stevie Y. We wouldn't be expecting anything else. Wait a minute, he's getting better. Earlier in the month, he was at 4 stars, I'm pretty sure. Now he's at 4.5. Huh. Probably excited because Christmas is coming. It's giving him enthusiasm, and he's playing better. Suspension over for John Slaney in Anaheim. Back to the lineup. Alright, we are now playing at home right before the Christmas break, so that's our last game before Christmas. We are hosting the Chicago Blackhawks, who are struggling, so they are not doing good. They are 11-19-4. It's our first game of the season against them, so let's take a look here. No injuries. Yep, they're pretty healthy. So they have Belfour and Brathwaite in net, so that's okay tandem. I mean, Belfour's pretty good. Brathwaite as a backup is okay. Igor Kravchuk, Jeff Norton, Tichy, DJ Smith still playing. Well, DJ Smith in my universe officially was better than he ever did in real life. He only scored 1 goal in his career. And he had 6 last year. So, all right, Chris Chelios, Ken Sutton, Tom Chorsky, Stefan Matteau, either Kevin or Kip Miller, Ethan Moreau, Darby Hendrickson, Kyle Calder, Nordquist, Ronick, Nordstrom, Reto Van Args, Ted Drury, Tom Fitzgerald, Dan Cleary, Keith Jones, and Dave Scatcherd. Yeah, that's not a great team. I mean, even Ronick, he's only a 3-star player at 30 anymore. I mean, that's still good, but not superstar level. Alright, we're going to try Mike Dunham in net again. They're going with Ed Belfour. And we lost 4-1. We cannot play Mike Dunham anymore, apparently. We outshot them 32-21. Jeremy Roenick was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Ed Belfour, second star, 31 saves. And Tom Fitzgerald, third star with 2 assists. We had 13,560 people in attendance. Alright, so Chicago took a 2-0 lead in the first, 4-0 lead after 2. Then finally in the third, Sheldon Surrey from Alfredson and Yashin was our lone goal. Alright, so it is Christmas, and no trade offer I cannot refuse. It's the same thing every year. I don't get what I want. Alright, we are playing at home against Washington tomorrow. Luke Robitaille extends his assist streak to 8 games with an assist against the Sharks. Pretty good. Flames players unhappy with ice quality. That's a new one. According to a local beat reporter's unnamed source, multiple Calgary players have approached management to voice concerns about the condition of the Northwest Division team's ice. The players met together in a private meeting before the team's practice and appointed an unnamed player to meet with owner Arlie Hutchkiss and head coach Butch Goring to air complaints about the ice surface's upkeep. Apparently, the meeting's result was not satisfactory to the players, and it is questionable if it will hurt the third-place team's morale. Ooh, they're already not doing good, and now they're sad that they're playing on shitty ice, and management has not been listening to them. So now's the time to trade for, well, who do they have that I would want? Probably nobody. Theo Fleury's getting old. Al McInnes is old. Yeah, probably nobody. And we have a trade proposal from the Blues, who are offering me Bjorn Millen for Roman Hammerdick, and I will say no to that. No, 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 no. Goodbye. Alright, we are playing at home against Washington. The seasons change, but are pretty much the same for Washington. They are horrible again this year. They are 8-24-3 for 19 points. They are 14th in the East. Let's take a look at their roster. Alright, oh, Sergei Gonchar is still recovering from that fractured skull he had. That's right, I forgot he got that injury last year. Alright, so Olaf Kolzig in net with Zach Bierk. Kolzig is a good goaltender. The problem is probably not there. Jason Cullimore, Per Gustafsson, Craig Miller, Jamie Rivers, Kevin Hatcher, Kelly Yules, and Shane Knighty, and John Clemondy. That's not great. Andrew Brunette, Dmitry Ristich, Jan Bulish, Yuri Butsayev, Jason Allison, Glenn Metropolit, Clark Wilmary York, Peter Bondra, Jim Campbell, Pat Peake, Jeff Alpern, and Vladimir Orsa. The offense is okay. The D is suspect. They have good goaltending. They probably should be playing a little bit better than that record. Might be a coaching issue. We're going back to Tim Thomas. That might be the smart thing to do because we're losing with Mike Dunham in net. And we won 6-0. Alright, so it looks like we need to ride Tim Thomas. He's carrying the load in net for us this year so far. Look at that. We completely dominated that team for shots, 57-18. Sheldon Surrey was the first star. He had a goal and 2 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Marian Osa the third star with a goal and an assist as well. 12,190 people in attendance. So we scored twice in the first. Osa on the power play from Alfredson and Surrey, and then McCabe from Sillinger and Dackel. So it was 2-0 after 1. Then Surrey on the power play from Marian Osa, and then Berard from Yashin. It was 4-0 after 2. Then Arvidsson from Surrey and Shara, and then Alfredson on the power play from Yashin. 6-0. That's our final score. Great game, guys. Oh, Jamie Rivers is available. I'm not gonna attempt to pick him up. Dynamic passing leads to products of night for Jochen Hecht, who had 5 assists against Anaheim. Now keep in mind, in my universe, Jochen Hecht was traded to Dallas. Turner Stevenson in Minnesota has been suspended. He's going to miss 6 games. Alright, there are 2 games left in December, and they are on the road. Ooh. Los Angeles Gretzky suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. 39-year-old Wayne Gretzky, 3.5 star player. So, and Luc Robitaille's assist streak ended at 8 games. He had a goal though against St. Louis, but did not get an assist. Alright, so we are playing in Buffalo. Buffalo's not doing too good so this season. They are 7, 17, and 10. Already 10 ties for them. They are 13th in the East. So yeah, they're not doing too good. We played once against them this year, and it was a 1-1 tie. Going back to Tim Thomas. He's going to be facing Dominik Hasek. And we won 3-0. 2 shutouts in a row for the Sens. We outshot Buffalo 43-20. Roman Hamrlik was the first star with a goal and an assist. Brian Berard was the second star with an assist. And Sammy Salo the third star with a goal. So all defensemen got the stars in that game. So Marian Osa scored in the first from Yashin, so it was Marian Osa's 20th. So 1-0 Sens after 1, and then we scored twice in the third. Roman Hamrlik from Arvidsson and Brian Berard, and Sammy Salo in an empty net from Hamrlik and Datsuk. Suspension over for Owen Nolan. He is back with the Avalanche. Open ice leads to a productive night for Ulf Dallin, who had 4 assists against the Kings. Pretty good. Alright, and last game in December, we are playing the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are right behind us in the standings. They are second in the East, 1 point behind us. So if they win, they leapfrog us. They are 24-11-2. They are pretty good. We're 2-1 against Pittsburgh this year. So I am mildly optimistic. Not that much, because we have struggled a lot against that team. We're going with Tim Thomas. They're going with Tom Barrasso, the veteran. And we won 2-1. Pretty good. Alright, pretty even game. 37-36 the shots for us. The game was in Pittsburgh. Sammy Salo was the first star. He had an assist. Mario Lemieux was the second star with an assist. And Marian Osa, third star with a goal. Alexei Yashin opened the scoring in the first from Joe Thornton and Sammy Salo. It was 1-0 Sens. Then Marian Osa in the third made it 2-0 Sens, assisted by Alfredson. And then Adrian Aucoin would score on the power play, make it 2-1, but Pittsburgh would run out of time. Oh, big game for Daniel Sedin. So the Sedin brothers are starting to get good. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against San Jose. Keith Primo lights the lamp. He had a hat-trick. Scored all the goals for his team against Tampa Bay. Alright, ooh. Alright, so best skater. So that's the poll that came in with the, you know. So best skater is Phil Housley with Phoenix. That's kind of new, I think. Hardest shot, Rob Blake. It is not Al McInnes anymore. Smartest, Marian Osa from the Ottawa Senators. That's pretty good. Toughest Ty Domi in Columbus. Fastest Pavel Bure in Vancouver. That didn't change. Best role model Steve Yzerman with Detroit. Cleanest Brad Richards in Tampa Bay. Toughest goalie to beat Dominik Hasek. Well, Buffalo's not winning, but okay. Coach you'd most like to play for I believe for the very first time since I started, it is not Scotty Bowman. It is Joel Quenneville with Atlanta. Alright, so we are going to sim to January 1st. Steve Yzerman extends his go streak to 5 with a goal against LA. And he's back to 4 stars. So he wasn't a 4.5 star for very long. Alright, ooh, and for the very first time, we get a Player of the Month honor. So Ray Bourque was the Player of the Month, and the Goaltender of the Month was Tim Thomas of the Ottawa Senators. He had a great month, he had a few shutouts, he got us wins where Mike Dunham lost. So all in all, a pretty good month again. We're doing pretty good. We are first in the East. That's pretty hard to ask for more than that. We are doing really good. So let's take a look in the West. Take a look at a little bit of the standings over there. Alright, so in the West, Detroit, Colorado, LA, San Jose, Phoenix, Anaheim, Edmonton, and Dallas are all in a playoff spot. Yeah. There's a few teams that are really struggling. Yeah, I'm looking at Buffalo. They only have 7 wins. They're not dead last in the East because they have a bunch of ties. So, not exactly the way you want to have success. Well, it's not success, but... Alright, so... Ooh, look at that. Alright, so as far as our stats go, Marian Hossa and Alexei Yashin both have 43 points in 37 games. Daniel Alfredson is also above a point per game. He has 36 points in 32 games. And Sheldon Surrey is a defenseman and he's close, 32 in 37. After that it drops off to Joe Thornton at 19 in 37. And then it dwindles down from there. Of note, Chris Phillips has played 14 games and he doesn't have a point, and Brad Larson played in 15 games and doesn't have a point. Alright, so that's pretty much where we're at. Yeah, some players are struggling a little bit. Nieuwendyk is not doing good. 12 points in 30 games. Is it getting close to the end for Nieuwendyk with the Suns? Maybe. I mean, he's not playing all that great. Alright, and now the stats in the league. Let's see. So Steve Yzerman is the best goal scorer. He has 31 goals this year. Marian Hossa has 21. He's 5th. 10 goals behind. Best passer is Steve Yzerman with 37 assists. So obviously Yzerman is the best scorer in the league this year, 68 points. Second place is Luc Robitaille with 53. So a 15-point lead for Yzerman right now. And I don't have any players in points that are close. Alright. Yeah, so it looks pretty good. So so folks, we're doing pretty good. We're first in the East. We need to keep going through the games and win them. I will continue to monitor, you know, waivers. I'm going to try and pick up players. I tried to pick up Chris Clark. It didn't work. I'm also going to look at the trade block and everything. Maybe put some of my guys on the trade block and try to spark something. We'll see. So I am going to end this here. I really need to take a breather at this point. I'm pretty happy that I was able to get through this video. I had to stop a couple times, but it wasn't too bad, I don't think. So pretty happy of how it turned out. So I really want to thank you for tuning in and for your patience with me having to pause and everything. And well, if you've liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe if that's not done already. I always appreciate that. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.